I received a great teaching some years ago, and it really helps us to unpack imposter syndrome and how to move beyond imposter syndrome. It goes like this. You know what you know. You don't know what you know. And you don't know what you don't know. So you know what you know. You don't know what you know. And you don't know what you don't know. And we're going to use the second two phrases in that teaching to unpack imposter syndrome. So the first one, you don't know what you know. My partner, Pete, is a great cook. He's just very naturally creative in the kitchen. He understands ingredients, he understands flavour, he understands what works, what doesn't work. But what he doesn't realise is that not everybody else understands that. He just thinks because that's his norm, he thinks that that's everybody else's norm. He doesn't realise that in any room that he's in, he probably knows more about cooking and flavour and ingredients than anybody else who is in that room. And I sometimes say to him, why don't you create like a membership where you send out like a recipe with a video of yourself, because he's really funny and charismatic and lovely and handsome. So he told me to say that. So why don't you do that? People would pay for that. Like, that's such a great business that you would have so much fun doing, and that is really a gift that you have, and is really special knowledge that you have. But he doesn't really know what he knows. He doesn't know that he has that knowledge. And this can be the case when we are comparing ourselves to others. So I've written down here, imposter syndrome is the demon child of comparison. Imposter syndrome is the demon child of comparison. And what I mean by that is that it shows up when we're comparing ourselves to others, and we're usually in some kind of story like, everybody else, there's so many other people that are doing what I do, and they're all better than I am, and they're all more experienced than I am, and they've all got more knowledge than I have. Well, maybe there are some people out there, for sure, that are more experienced than you, that have more knowledge than you. But there are also lots of people out there that you have more knowledge and more experience than they do. So think about what is the thing that if you're in a room of people, you probably know more about. And so let's say that you're a yoga teacher or a healer or a coach or a therapist, business owner, and you'd love to have online courses or memberships or containers or something like that. You'd love to grow a community, but there's a part of you that's niggling away going, oh, well, you don't know enough. And oh, well, what have you got to share? Who are you to share that knowledge and that information? And I really encourage you to sit down and start to actually just play with, well, okay, if I was to put together like a series of workshops or a 6-week course or a 10-week course or a training program or whatever it might be, just start to sit down and just start to see like what comes through. What would you share? And I think you'd be surprised as to how much you do know, how much knowledge you already have. And what's also true is that as long as you're 1 or 2 steps ahead of somebody else, then you have valuable information. You can teach them what you know. And that's all it is, just teaching people what you know, and know that what you have to offer is of great, great value and of great, great service. There's a really beautiful quote that I'd like to share with you from one of my favourite poets, John O'Donoghue, an wonderful Irish poet. And he says, at any time, you can ask yourself, at which threshold am I now standing? And remembering that every moment is a threshold. At this time in my life, what am I leaving? Where am I about to enter? What is preventing me from crossing the next threshold? What gift would enable me to do it? A threshold is not a simple boundary, it is a frontier, that divides two different territories, rhythms, and atmospheres. So you're currently in one territory, one rhythm, one atmosphere, you're in the known. And over there, reaching for you is a different rhythm, a different territory, maybe a more expansive space. Perhaps you can feel the temperature and taste the air and smell the fragrance, and it's reaching for you and it's pulling you and it wants you. But what is getting in the way? What am I leaving? So what are you ready to leave? And where am I about to enter? And what is preventing me from crossing my next threshold? What is preventing you from crossing the next threshold? And imposter syndrome is essentially a bunch of stories. A bunch of stories which say, I'm not good enough, I don't know enough, I'm not ready. And the truth is that we're never ready. We have to start before we're ready. We have to step in and realize that we do know enough. And actually what can happen once you start to sit down and look at how much you do know, and let's say that you want to create a course, or you want to build a community, or you want to educate in some way. Once you sit down and start to plan a little bit of content and curriculum, you'll start to see that, wow, I've got so much to share. And actually, like, you probably have more than enough. And this is something that I've learned over offering online trainings and courses over a long period of time now, is that I want to give you everything. I want to give you all the things. But actually, it's too much. It's overwhelm. People just need a little bit of information week by week, a little bit of knowledge, be it ideally delivered in a live call setting so that you can build relationship and you can build community and you can be in circle. And so actually, once you start to lay it all down, you might find that you need to strip it all back. And maybe you have a series of courses, or maybe it's more than just a 6-week course. Maybe it is a 6-month immersion. Maybe it's a membership. So all of these what's called digital products, or these online offerings, these are just spaces where you get to share your knowledge. And we need your voice and we need your gifts, and it's so important. And we have to get out of the way. And there is this wonderful Martha Graham quote of, there is a vitality, a life force, a quickening that translates through you into action. And we must not get in the way of that. It's not our place to question or judge or inhibit that flow. If your soul is pulling you in a particular direction and it's pointing you this way, it's saying, it's over here, we need to go over there, cross this threshold and move into that new territory. But there's resistance and you're pulling yourself back and saying, oh yeah, but, yes, but. You know, if there's always like a reason to not do that, then you won't do that. But the deeper current, the deeper calling, really your Dharma is saying, yeah, we have to go this way. And you probably don't know what you're doing. You don't know what the next step's going to be. That's how you know, that you're in the right place. You just put one foot in front of the other and trust. We don't know how to do all the things. So we learn and we study and we go and sit with teachers and we do coaching and we get support. And I've always been a big believer that you have to build a team around you. We can't do life all by ourselves. That is just, a kind of neoliberal individualistic idea. We need to sit in community, build community, grow community, learn from community, sit in other people's communities. Connect and gather and resource, and then offer that back out for the benefit of everybody else. And that's the thing, is that it's not about you. So if you're getting in the way, and if imposter syndrome is kind of keeping you stuck because, what in the inner critic is loud and saying, well, what do you know? What right have you got to share this? Who are you? Everybody else knows more than you. And then we're making it about us. And actually, it's not about us. If you are in service and you're being called to teach, to heal, to therapize, whatever it may be, to hold space for people, to grow community, it's not about you. And so whatever is in the way is the way. That's the way forward. You've got to move through that to get to the other side and to truly be in service. And that's to truly be in your Dharma, to be in your purpose. Yeah, I think that's everything that I wanted to say about that. So, yeah, if you're wanting to build an online community, make money online, financially resource yourself, be less burnt out, and be able to step more fully into your Dharma, then that's what we work on in the 10-week group coaching program, How Not to Be a Humble Healer, where we dissolve the self-image around, oh, but I just got to stay small, and it's not okay for me to have money and have resource, and it's important, you need that in order to be able to grow and offer and share and reach more people. So in the first couple of weeks, we look at seeing and being seen, and all of these stories around imposter syndrome and how that keeps us small. We will then look at the real basics of brand and tone and copywriting and voice. We look at building websites. I bring in my amazing designer who has been with me right from the beginning of my school and my business. And then we really get clear on who do you want to serve. And that's really the most important thing. When you really know who you want to be in community with and who you want to hang out with, and then you can really understand like what the community that you're in or the community that you're serving, what are their needs? What do they need help with? And you can ask them. If I did a course or if I did a training or if I put something together, like what would you want me to do? What do you want to learn? What do you want to know more about? What knowledge do I have that you would like me to share with you? Simple Google form or, WhatsApp group, and just start to gather information. What do people need? And how can you meet those needs? So we talk about that. And then there's also everything around how to use platforms like Thinkific and Stripe, and how to kind of get over some stumbling blocks with Instagram, and to show up more and to speak more and to use your voice. So there's all sorts. It's a 10-week course. That's kind of top line. And we'll sit in community and we'll have a live call once a week for an hour, 40 minutes of education, 20 minutes of Q&A and connection. And we'll have, a group where you get to support each other and lift each other up. So I really hope that we get to meet online or in person at some point soon or in the future. And I hope this has been helpful for you in some way. Have a beautiful day.